Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. I was just speaking about you, letting people know all your amazing goodness. And I love speaking to Jazz because it's always a good time. You've got 2 career coaches with 2 different, not viewpoints, but 2 different ways of attacking careers that have successfully helped multiple people. Like hundreds of people have been helped between the 2 of us, probably thousands if I really think about it.
Yeah.
So, Jazz, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Can you introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here. I describe myself as a coach for ambitious careers and communities. So I work with the folks who always have a goal. They're always on a move. I like to say they like to feel the wind in their hair. So those are my people. And that's what I've been doing for almost 7 years now.
Love it, love it, love it. And yeah, thank you for joining me today. When I reached out to Jazz, she said this title really kind of resonated with her and stuck with her. And I just felt like Jazz is the exact right person to speak about this type of thing, like sophistication, finesse. How are we moving through this job market? Which is going to continue into 2025. Let's just lay that out on the line now. Like people are like, oh, I'm just going to wait till next year. The job market, at least for the early part of 2025, it's not changing. There are way more candidates than there are jobs. Companies are insanely picky right now and tight with their budgets. But that being said, I've had clients this year who have got 60k pay rises, 50k pay rises, some of the bigger pay rises that I've seen this year. And I know, Jazz, you've helped people this year, but I want to talk about what are the main changes. I want to talk about all the things. We've had a couple questions come in beforehand. But to get started, Jazz, I want to ask you, what is one of the biggest things you have seen change in this current job market?
Oh, what are one of the biggest things that I've seen change? It's the sophistication. Right? It's what you're saying, right? We started off the year, everyone was in love with ChatGPT, and then people started to use that for their CVs and stuff. And it's just like, we are not, people have been spooked by the applicant tracking systems for years. But now what we're looking at is organizations who are scrutinizing every investment that they make. So a typo on the CV, not tailoring certain things, applying for jobs that are just fully irrelevant, right? I've spoken about it on a live before where it's just like, you just shooting your shot and they're looking at this application like, how did you end up in my inbox? Make it make sense, right? So I think a biggest thing is the sophistication of the decision makers, whether that's a recruiter, whether that's a direct hiring manager, whatever it is. You want to remember that anytime you get a role, it's more than one person making that decision. It's more than one person screening your entire profile, not just CV, your entire portfolio of skills is there. So I think it's really, really important to recognize it, not be spooked by it, but rise to the challenge of the sophistication of those decision makers in a recruiting process. Because listen, it's not, people don't snap their fingers and get budget to make a new hire. People don't snap their fingers and get budget to get even contractors, right? I've worked with people who are in fractional roles and things like that. The campaigns that they're doing internally, their names are riding on those. So when it comes time to filtering through applications, making a decision, again, their reputation is on the line for every single decision, because for every coin that they're able to offer you, they're fighting even harder for it now, because people are going, why? Why do we need this role? What's this for? Right. So it's a challenge, but it's not, it's a challenge. Challenges can be overcome, right? It's not blocker.
Right. And that's why I wanted you here, because like you said, a challenge is just a challenge. Hard does not mean impossible. And I love that you spoke about the fact that internally people have pressure. Because I think sometimes when we're in the job market and we're looking from the outside, we forget that the people inside are feeling the same pressure. Before they could just be like, I need to hire 2 more people, go and get a quick sign off, hire the 2 people. Now people are like, but do we have money like that? What do you mean you need 2 people? What are these 2 people going to do for our company and for our business? Like, And that's key to what you just said. People are not realizing that even to get the budget to hire you, they had to jump through 25 hoops. Now, when they see your application, if it don't look good, they're like, no, 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 I didn't jump through all these hoops to present this to my boss or to present this to the
I
senior
can't.
management team.
We'll just keep the role live. We're not ready to shortlist now.
Right. And that's the thing. And I think because you started by talking about applications, let's dive in and talk about CVs. Because I think CVs have to be different. You said something really specific. You were like, people have to target their CVs, and why are people sending CVs that don't make no sense? One thing I'll say about like 2022 job market, where it all kind of was looking great and rosy, even before that, 2018, 2019
Yeah.
job markets, beautiful
Oh, it
job
was
markets. But
luscious.
one thing I'll say about those job markets, you could send the most basic generic CV to a job and you would probably get shortlisted. And I think what people haven't realized is that you can't do that in this job market. You can't send a CV that's for, I don't know, HR and for a training manager. You can't send, that's not the same CV. So what are the biggest changes you've seen in CVs, and what do people really need to focus on? Like, what one or two things would you say are key right now with people's applications and
Yeah.
CVs?
Yeah, I would say, and you've touched on it a little bit lightly, right? I get people that come to me and they've created a different CV for every role. No,
No, that's too
no,
much, please.
no, no. That's what the covering letter is for, okay? Do you know what I mean? Like me, I'm gonna make a metaphor because I know we're both nails girlies, right? Are we chopping down the nails every? No, no, no. Just shape me up and give me a new color. Yeah, that's what the covering letter is.
Pretty
But
in
the CV
shot.
stays the same.
In
Hello, the full set
fills.
stays the
In
same.
fills.
Yeah, it stays the same. So, I would say max. I work with somebody, the maximum CVs they have is 3. And that third one is only because they were open to freelance and contracting opportunities where the way we articulate the value is completely different to a role, right? So it's really, really important for that. No longer do I want to be seeing lists of your skills, flexible, adaptable. Get it out of here. Yuck, right? No, because if you're not flexible and adaptable in 2020, we've all lived through a pandemic, okay? If you're not flexible and adaptable by now, I don't really know where you've been working and what you've been doing, right? So I would say no more than 2 to 3. So even the example that you said, right? HR manager, talent manager. They are, again, the CVs aren't actually going to look magically different because it's still the same core information. We're just pointing it in different directions. But I think that's the biggest thing. The other thing I talk about as well is like treating it like a shop window. Is the first half, when I click open that document, is the first half enticing me to scroll to the end of the first page and then the second page. So when it comes to the information that people like to tuck in, I'm a big fan of the relevant experience and then further experience. Because again, if I have 2.5 seconds of your attention, being dramatic with it, but let's be real, the first half needs to entice me to read the rest, and I might not even hit the second page. So if your most relevant role, yes, it may be 4 years ago, is on second page, I'm disqualifying you because you've made me work. Your CV should not make anybody work. It should be enticing. It should be inviting. It should not be labor. So I could go on, but
I
we
love
need
you.
to be talking. We need to know our audience. Yeah, we need to know our audience. And at the end of the day, your CV is a marketing tool.
Talk about
Right?
it.
It's a marketing tool. And ultimately, when we think about all of the great marketing, it needs to be memorable. It needs to be worthy of your attention, and it needs to drive somebody to take action. Every good piece of marketing makes you want that thing, even if you have no reason not, to want it. Right? I'm an Android babe. Okay? But when I see an Apple advert, I'm like, I respect what you're doing here. If I was an Apple person, I'd be enticed by,
Good
the
marketing.
Apple 21. Like,
Good marketing.
but it's good
Solid marketing.
marketing, right?
Solid
And
marketing.
that happened in a matter of minutes. That's one visual. That's a couple of seconds. So you have to communicate as though you're Apple, because otherwise we're not getting through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Marketing tool. Talk about it. I love that you said marketing tool, because people don't view their CV as a marketing tool. They don't view it as something that is initially selling them. People don't realize, like I say all the time, your CV is your movie trailer. How many times have we seen a movie trailer? If the movie trailer is rubbish, I'm not in a rush to go watch it.
At all.
At
Listen, and
all.
you're talking to somebody who has a cinema membership. I can go see it for free. I'm
Right.
still not spending my
Right. I'm not
time.
spending my coins, I'm not spending my time, I'm not doing anything because the trailer was no good. And the truth is, when the trailer is good, let's be real, most of the time, all the good bits have now been shown. And when you go and watch the movie, you've seen them all. However, the trailer, the marketing was so good, you still was like, I know this is all the best bits of the movie, but I'm going to see just in case. Because that's what it is. It's a snapshot, it's a summary. Sometimes people get caught up in these CVs with putting everything down, like you said, lists. Just lists and lists and lists of stuff. My biggest thing is, why does that matter? Instead of when you look at your CV, instead of writing what you did, tell me why it mattered. Get to the point. Like Jazz said, the first half of your CV needs to be super interesting, but it also needs to get to the point. And I like that you said 3 CVs, Max. I have at least, I have 3 CVs. I have a master CV, which I never send out. That has everything I've ever done. It's probably like 10
I'm a
pages
big
long.
fan of that.
Absolutely.
I get clients who are just like, oh, I should probably delete something. No, I said, we're going to open a new document over here.
Absolutely.
And we're going to put this over here. We're going to copy paste because you've got a vault. Why? Because we're going to come back to that when it's interview prep. We're going to come back to that where fast forward 2 years, you're calling me, you're saying, Jazz, I think I want to pivot again. I'm like, great, we're going to go back to the foundation.
You need the master, because I think when I look at my master CV, I'm like, wow, I forgot I even did that. Because I've got a 20-year career. Do you think I remember what I was doing 20 years ago? I don't remember what I was doing last year. So master CVs, but again, like you said, you have your master CV and you open another document and then you literally I'm a copy and paste girl. So anyone listening who thinks that like every single time I'm sending out a CV, it's correct. No. As a career coach, I'm letting you know, I get my master document, I copy and paste, and I update what needs to be updated. My biggest thing with needing a different CV is not that you should have a whole different CV. I like editing personal profiles.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me. And the reason being, if you read 2 job adverts and they are totally different, why is your personal profile the same? I just don't see, as a recruiter, as someone who's been doing recruitment, HR 15 years, you are the answer to the problems in the job advert.
Make it easy.
Yeah, so if your personal profile, and you say to me, I'm going for a training manager, and nowhere in that personal profile you mention the word training, I'm not shortlisting you. You've not talked about that you've done training, how many people you've trained, where you've trained, what were the results of your training, but you're going for a training manager role. Because then I'll speak to people and they'll say to me, oh yeah, but that's because I use that for HR as well. Okay, but it's not going to work. Because in this job market, back in the day, they would connect the dots for you. I think that's really important. So back in the day, I could send out my human resources CV.
And they'll be like, oh, I feel like you could do it. Yeah. I know what human resources is. This time they're like, it's a red flag that you didn't even bother to tailor it for me. Because again, you said it, you're saying it as somebody who was a recruiter. So you're saying it going, I know the game, but I appreciate that you're playing it, because if you can't be bothered to play it, am I hiring you?
This is what it is. This is what it is.
And it's the same thing like I'm seeing like in the market with roles who ask for covering letters. And, I'll talk with people and I go, so have you been putting covering letters on any of these applications? No. Have they been asking for it? Yes.
You need a cover. Yeah, you need a cover.
I
hate cover letters, guys.
For it for fun, because every company doesn't ask for one. So when they do anything in your application process that is there, it is not there by accident.
Absolutely.
And leverage it.
You have to, if they ask for a cover letter, send a cover letter. I hate cover letters. No one reads them. I'm going to let you know 90% of recruiters are not reading your cover letter. That's the truth. However, if we've written cover letter, we need you to send it, because someone more senior, a manager, someone needs that cover letter. Also, FYI, behind the curtain, it's a recruiter trick as well. If we know that a job's going to get a lot of applications, I'll add cover letter, because a lot of you don't want to apply if you see cover letter. So then you've helped me disqualify you because you didn't even apply because it said cover letter. So that's a quick trick, just so you know. Sometimes cover letters are to reduce the amount of applicants, because we know that, and it's the same with, sometimes people will be like, it asked me to send my CV, but then also fill out an application form and repeat the information. Again, this is a longing out process, because if 100 people read the ad, I promise you at least 30 will fall off at the top of the funnel, because they can't be bothered to fill out the application. They can't be bothered to send a CV, fill out the application, do the cover letter. So now we've got less people to interview, less people to shortlist. It just makes our jobs easier. So keep that in mind the next time you're applying for a role. But like Jazz said, if it says cover letter, you have to send a cover letter. I don't care if you don't like it, you still have to do a cover letter. And you need to do a good cover letter. It doesn't need to be an essay, but again, your cover letter will now become your trailer, your summary, your like, hello, look at me. Let's talk about it.
An extension of that profile piece on the CV. That's how I see it, where it's like you are making it easy for me to connect the dots on why you are in my inbox at this here time. And a lot of people write a covering letter like as an ad for themselves. I can do this, I do this, I do that. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here, I'm not seeing one keyword, one task, one responsibility from the job description. I'm just seeing your bog standard. I'm seeing your list again, but in paragraph format, right? And so when I work with clients on covering letters, you know, first paragraph, tell me in one sentence why you're applying for this. And obviously not because I need a job. What's the one thing that is appealing to you about this role or this company? Then I want you to go in and pluck stuff from the actual job description and show me, again, very succinct. We're not doing essays here, guys, but we're saying in my role at blah, 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 I did X for over 25 years, which is why I know I can do this for you, right? We are matching it up. We're plucking like even two is fine. 2 things from that job advert, because again, remember that job advert isn't written by accident. And actually, when you learn how to read and translate a job description, you begin to understand what is it that they are looking for. Some job adverts are actually shady. Like I look at it and I'm just like, whoever was doing this role before was really messing up in this area because you've repeated this 4 times. You really need somebody who knows how to manage multiple priorities and meet deadlines.
Yes.
You know, pick up on it and talk to them like you would a person. If the person was sitting there going, the person in this role before just didn't keep up, everything was delayed, that's not a problem for me. That's never been a problem for me. I'm very well experienced. My experience here, and here has it. Cool. Close it off. Let them know when you're available, people. Hello. Because again, also when I've been recruiting, again, we're still always going to go for the best person for the job. Yes. It's nice for me to know that you've got 30 days rather than some people have 3-month notice periods. That is, you know, again, it's the contract you signed. It's how the cookie crumbles. But if I am hiring in a crunch and I can't wait, you know, day 31, I need somebody on site. I'm going to take that into consideration. I don't want to have to guess, right? And it can feel like a very risky piece of information but also we're in a market where there's a lot of people who are like, I'm available now. You know, I've been subject to a layoff. I'm available straight away. At the very least, that lets me know, okay, I can hop on a call with you and we can do a screening real quick because you're available. But please give them the information up front.
Give some context. I say the longer your notice period, you have to consider, do you think you're going to be able to leave a bit earlier if you need to? Do you think you'll be able to take annual leave if you need to?
Do we have that annual leave?
Exactly.
Back that annual leave? Listen, the amount of people where they're just like, oh, I'm leaving. Oh my gosh, you're leaving. When's your last day? Next Friday.
Yeah.
I think we all had the same notice period. I had some annual leave.
Yeah, I had all my annual leave to take. Listen, I know those tricks. Like, guys, we have to think about all the things that can help you reduce that notice if you are on a super long notice period. I've been in those situations. And just to touch back on cover letters, the more senior you are in a role, the more high up you are in a company, you need a cover letter. That's not in every industry, but it's in most industries. Yeah. And if they're asking for a cover letter for a more senior role, there's a reason.
Oh yeah, that's getting
Jazz hit on something really. I think you hit on something crucial. The results. Why are you here in my inbox? Tell them the result that you deliver. Jazz said something really clear, like where she said, "Oh, I've been doing X, Y, Z for 25 years for this place, and I'm happy to come. I basically come here and do it for you by doing X, Y, Z." If you are not clear on what you can do for that company, then they will go with the candidate who was clear. It's not that you can't do it. We can't sit back in this job market and expect the hiring managers, the recruiters to connect the dots for you. You need to literally wave a flag in their face and tap dance and do backflips. Okay, you have to be, but we don't have to. One thing that I like that you said, like, although we're saying things have to be more sophisticated, we're not saying they need to be longer. We do not want a 10-page essay on your cover letter. You can get the same message across in 4 lines. And I'm not saying your cover letter should be 4 lines, anyone listening. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it should be 4 or 5 lines, because I don't want some people going back now saying, oh no, mine's 7 lines. I need to rub this up. No. What I'm saying though is you can get your information out in like 4 lines. If you know why they want you, why they're looking for someone, and how you can give that to them, the answer is in the job description. Like you said, if they have said the same thing 4 times in the job advert, but I haven't seen you mention that thing 1 time, your CV will not get shortlisted. They said it repeatedly because they're letting you know, this is what I really, 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 really need. So please, can you do that? So I think that's really important. And I actually think I'm going to drop, before we move on to the next thing, I'm going to drop one of the questions because I think this is the right time to ask you one of these questions. So I had someone earlier today reach out and they were basically like, said to me, I'm going for a job, a career change,
Mm,
really interested, really excited, really want this job that I've applied
mm.
for. But now after she's applied, she's saying she's thinking of going back, messaging the recruiter and saying to the recruiter, I'm really interested in this job. I'm happy to work for free. And
It's a no.
wait. Okay, so Jazz already answered, and she wanted to know my thoughts. Jazz sit the tea. No, not Jazz sit the tea. Okay, so Jazz said it's a no. Can we elaborate on why is
Sorry,
it? Why should she
you
not go
can
and work for
finish
free?
yourself. Let's get to the end of the
So the
question.
end
Let
of
me
it was
not, because when
basically,
we
yeah.
get
So
back to the recording, I want to make sure I've got context.
she's never worked in that industry before. She really
Uh-huh.
wants this job, and she said, "Oh look, someone's asking us why." And she said, "Why should she not go in that person, message that person, and say, listen." So imagine you're the person, you're the hiring
Mm-hmm.
manager. I've just sent my application to you, Jazz. I'm really interested in working for your company. I'm even willing to work for free. It's a junior role, by the way. I should have added that. It is a junior role. It's not a more senior role. Why is it a no? Because I know you're about to say no. I see your mouth ready to say no again. Tell me why.
If it is a role and it's a junior role and they are offering money, take that money, because there are organizations that are offering junior roles for free. They're
Internships,
saying,
absolutely.
we don't have budget, it's an internship, we don't have budget. And there are companies, and bear in mind, I'm saying this in the context that our here UK government has a very generous apprenticeship scheme, get junior talent into work situations. So if they are paying attention to all of those things, they actually technically can pay you without them paying you, because they're doing the government a service by employing you. So for an organization to put their P's and Q's together to say, here's what we can offer as an hourly rate, or for the work here, we want to accept that. You are setting yourself up. You've lowered yourself before you've even stepped into the door. And as junior talent, one of the biggest challenges as junior talent is to be taken seriously with your skill set. I myself, I was a graduate surveyor who had been a property manager, right? And I lucked out because my team knew I was experienced. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have got the money that I got. They were like, you're getting paid more than the other grads. You can't tell them, but you are, because we can't pay you. You're experienced. I was doing the same thing that the senior surveyors were doing. They were using me to do real work. I wasn't just taking notes. So I would say, like, definitely it's different if it was advertised as an unpaid opportunity, but it was advertised as paid. Also, if we're dealing with a recruiting manager, a talent acquisition, somebody, they want money. They want the candidate that's going to give them commission. You not taking any money, how's that working? That is not motivational for them, because ultimately at the end of the day, they win when you come in and you get a decent number. This is obviously in terms of if it's an external recruiter, right? External recruiters aren't interested in placing freeness. That's not going to work for them. But I think more than anything, and this is me getting into my little coach bag, we're going to go to the mindset. What is it that is tempting you to circle back and make that offer? Because the reality is, even if they don't choose you, they've met you, they've experienced you. You know, I think it's hard when you're in the middle of applying for roles to get rejections, but I want you to remember that every single rejection you have is a network, right? They didn't take you, you've connected with everybody who met you on LinkedIn, and they're going to watch your journey from the side. So when something pops up, you thank the recruiter kindly, and you go, thanks so much, totally understand, company made the decision, let me know if there's anything else that comes up. So I want to challenge you to just anchor yourself. I know it's hard, but it won't make you stand out as a candidate. They won't go, oh, let's go for the one who's going to do it for free. Because also there is a space where junior roles is what this is, the double-edged sword with the junior role. Junior roles, people want the self-sufficient, self-starter, full of spunk, full of all of this sort of stuff. And if you're offering it for free, they go, oh, are they confident in their skills? Do they not think they're going to be good at it, so they don't want to charge us? Because then if they mess up, right, your brain starts to go down that pathway. Like for me, when I was hiring and I was hiring junior talent, like I want to work with the people who know their stuff. Like, I'm not saying you need to have everything together, because that's difficult when you're junior, right? You're here stretching out your placement experience or your 2 weeks work experience or your part-time experience. You're going, I think I can do this, I think I can do that. But I needed that self-start. I didn't need somebody coming in with their sort of head down and kind of being like, well, I'll do it for free, like I promised. And it's just like, no, I want you hungry. I want you ready to accept the challenge, because also I can't baby you. And me paying you or not paying you is not actually going to save me from, like, crudely, it not working out.
Mm.
I'm still going to be like, it didn't work out in the probation period. Yeah, they're free, but I still need to go back and hire. I should have just paid somebody.
True, true,
So
very
there's just
true.
layers to it, but I just want you to get, listen, I know we want the opportunity, but we can't come in the door on the back foot.
I can see someone wrote, but otherwise it's going to take so long to get my foot in the door. And I hear this a lot,
Mm,
the foot in the door comment. Like, I hear this a lot, like, oh, I need to do this to get my foot in the door. And actually, I will say this, you're already going for a junior role. That's your foot in the door. You're not going in at senior level. You're not going in at mid level. Like, one of my jobs, I went
mm,
in at trainee level. It was a good paying trainee level. Now,
mm,
I'm not gonna dispute that. It was very well paid for a trainee role. But I went in as a trainee. That's
mm.
already me getting my foot in the door, because I'm starting at a junior. I went from being a manager in one industry to being a trainee in another industry. Now, the sad thing was there was only about 4K between the two salaries, which is very embarrassing for me, because that let me know that I was very, very underpaid in my past industry. But we all know that teaching,
Mm,
childcare, it
yeah.
don't pay good. But you're already your foot in the door at a junior level. And how would you feel? My question would always be, how would you feel if you offer your services for free and they still say no? My feelings will be even extra hurt, because
I'd be
I
very
said
hurt.
I will come and do this for free. Saying you'll get your foot in the door, I think it's really important just to also think about, this person's talking about doing something for free. But what are you saying to them? What are you selling to them that you're going to come and do for free? Because there's still going to be an element of you needing to sell your skill set. Because otherwise, if they just wanted someone free, they would have just gone and got like literally
Mm,
anyone. And I
anyway.
think you said a key thing. There's like, and they're not always called internships because you get paid and unpaid
No,
internships.
yeah.
But I've taken on an unpaid intern before.
No, me too.
And we said to her, like, if you're good within like 60 days, whatever it is, we'll consider it being a paid role. After
See, but you're
30
good.
days, if
You're
you're
good.
good,
You see
if
what you
you're
just
good.
said?
So
This is the bit, right? Because even I had a conversation with somebody the other month, and she was just like, I don't know whether I should do free. So I'm just trying to prove myself in the industry. And I said, here are my conditions for you doing freeness. It is capped. You get them to cover your expenses, and you're laser focused and clear on what it is that you will and won't be doing and what they're going to give you in return. So if it is a reference, if it is exposure to what is all of that stuff, and it is time boxed, and you go in there very clear to say, I'm willing to do this for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you'll cover my expenses, like in terms of my travel there. And then if you want me to stay after that, we need to talk again separately. Because I'm just reading the comment in the chat, right?
thank you. Yeah.
Your feeling is that once you're in the door, you get paid. They cannot pay you. There is nothing in writing to say we have to pay you once you're amazing. In fact, what we will do is we will give you 2-2 voucher. Yeah? We will
100%.
give you 2-2 awards. We'll say you're so amazing. We will give you all of the free accolades and keep you going on. So I think that's my big challenge with this, is that we're taking an opportunity that's paid and making it unpaid, when actually, if it really is that foot in the door energy, pitch, slide in appropriately, slide in DMs and say, I'm looking for experience of this particular thing. I'm willing to offer my services for a limited period of time in exchange for that required experience, right? Because you walk away with what you need. You walk
And
away with
that
the reference. You walk away being able to
and
say,
that's
I can do this
volunteering.
because I
But
did
that's
that here.
volunteer, and I love
And
that you
that's
said
volunteer.
that. That's
And this is
volunteering.
what
That's
I
not
mean.
going for a role. That is
No,
literally, let me
that's not a
volunteer my
role.
services
That's
so
it.
that I
That's
can
these
get this skill
have some
set.
stuff that I can do. It's 100% that. So it's just, we're not sitting here saying don't ever do unpaid for. Listen, I volunteered myself and got on a train from the depths of Guildford to the depths of Kent for, I think it was 2 weeks. They paid my expenses. I was like, I want to know if I want to do event management. I got in there, enjoyed it, loved it. They treated me very, very well. And then they goes, the event that you were planning in Germany, do you want to just come? Like, it feels weird for you not to come. So then they covered my first business travel experience, right? So I'm never going to poo-poo sliding in a DM and going, I love what you do. If there's any, here's my skill set. So bearing in mind, I created the opportunity, but I still pitched myself as though there was a role there. I looked at what they did and saw where I could fit in and add value. I made it easy for them to say
Mm-hmm.
yes, or for that person behind that person I was messaging to say yes. When they go to their boss and go, I've got this student in my inbox, it's like, what can she do? Oh, she's led catering. She's delivered events where over hundreds of people are there. She does logistics. She does this, that, blah, 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 blah. different story, but I've been laser focused. We don't trust the companies to do right by you, because the people might want to,
But
but
the
the bottom
company.
line is the company goes, why?
Hmm.
Why?
She's
If they
coming
want
for
money, they
free.
can leave.
She's
She's
happy
coming
to
for free.
do the work for free.
Paying for
Why have we
free.
now got to pay her? Like
Why are we
why
not
have we,
there?
and then why have we got to pay her well? Even if you do get paid, why do we now have to pay her well? Because she was willing to work for 30, 60, 90 days for free. So why now am I going to pay her really well? Why would I not just pay minimum wage? And the thing is, you've already started behind, because you said that it's a paid role. And I liked something that you said, Jazz, that really sat with me, because I think sometimes it's about how we position ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I really wanted a role and I was, and it's more about like, I think I'm going to get every job anyway. So like, I'm going to be really honest with you guys. Working on your self-belief is really important, because
Oh,
for some
I love
reason,
it.
I think I'm just going to get every job anyway, regardless. However, if I really was like, I want this specific job, and I know sometimes, you get your heart set on a certain job, a certain
You can
company,
see yourself in it, mate.
right? You've already pictured yourself in the job. Then I might reach out and I might say to them, listen, I've already applied for this job, and I think I'd be a great fit because of X, Y, Z. However, should I not get shortlisted, I would love to work for your company because it's been like a dream of mine, blah 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 blah, and I would be happy to offer my services for 3 weeks. Da, 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 or and put in some boundaries, but that's a totally different conversation, but it still incorporates a bit of both. So I know sometimes when your nervous system, when you need to regulate your nervous system, when you are like, oh my gosh, I've applied for the job and I'm not going to get the job, but I really want the job and I want to work for this company, you sometimes need that backup to
Mm-hmm.
regulate the nervous system. And the way you back it up is by saying, first and foremost, I think I'll be great for this job. Have you written a really good cover letter? Have you jumped in the DM and done some networking? Because I think this is going to connect really well to what we should talk about next, which is networking. This job market requires networking more than any other job market I've ever seen in my entire career, my entire life. I was in the 2009 recession. Like I was working those times. Like I remember when it was bad back then. Like people have forgotten. Like cost of living back then was insane as well. But it was cheap. It seemed cheaper, but it wasn't, because at the time it was really expensive. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I remember in 2008 and 2009 when all the financial things crashed and the housing market crashed, and I was working those times. So I remember how hard it was. It's very similar to this. And even then, the job market was not as specific and as tight with budgets as it is now. But I would say now networking more than any other time. I got a job in the 2009 market. Like I changed jobs because I networked, and I think now is exactly the same.
My last two
You have to talk to
jobs, the
people.
network.
You have
The
to have
one that I'm in right
conversations.
now was
Mm-hmm.
I posted on LinkedIn to say, look, just coming out of a redundancy, I'm available, here's the skills, whatever. Somebody I'd met before in a completely different context, so in business context. She was a director at the organization, reached out and said, hey, I might have two roles.
Ooh,
Do you want to have a coffee? And we had the chat, and I was like, this sounds so on point. This sounds like perfect, my skill set, da, 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 da. It made sense for me. The
mm-hmm.
role before, it came up on LinkedIn. I went, boo, 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 boo. Oh, friend from college works there. DM'd him, said, hey, notice you've been there since January. Bearing in mind, this was about April at
Okay.
the time. I was like, how is it? Like, would you recommend? Da, 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 da. Do you have a referral scheme? Straight up. Bearing in mind, this is in tech.
Mm-hmm.
So that role, the context is tech. And I have to tell people, do not sleep on the tech referral schemes, because I have benefit. Listen, a tech referral bonus paid for part of my wedding. Okay? They don't play. So do not be bashful about
Mm-hmm.
asking that, right? But either way, we had the conversation. I was like, is the role still available? So again, remember, I'm not sliding the DMs with straight off the bat with beggy. We're not doing that. We're asking straight, very simple questions. Is the role still available? Because I know sometimes they've hired for it. They forgot to take down the LinkedIn post. Really interested in it. Would you recommend the company? He was just like, yeah, recommend the company. Like, if you think it'd be a good fit for your skills, let me just go and walk over and talk to the hiring manager. She confirmed this all good. Do you want to send me your CV? I sent my CV over LinkedIn.
That's
And
what.
then went into the formal system. So don't think it's just straight up like, woo, you just went
Yeah.
straight in. No. The greenhouse login details appeared shortly thereafter. But I came in as his referral. When I touched down on the first day, they were like, oh, you're so-and-so's referral. I was like, oh, this referral scheme is really 3D. It's
Everyone
360. It's
knows.
all
Yes.
encompassing. And then again, when I referred a friend who was actually changing from teaching into tech, after they were like, oh, you're Jazz's referral, aren't you? Right? And again, she went through the process. I sent her my unique link. She still had to interview. She still had to go through all of that stuff. But people are like, how do you know her? How long have you known each other for? Da, da, da. All we're talking about here is de-risking yourself as a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a covering letter does. That's what a CV does. That's what taking the time to tailor it does. And that's what your network does. Because even if it's not a person at that organization, there's somebody that can vouch for your skills.
Mm.
Right? So there's somebody doing a recommendation. You've got even the social proof on LinkedIn of here's me opening our Black History Month talk. I'm using Black History Month as an example because that's where we are, isn't it? We don't have to, it doesn't need to be everyday DEI. But here's me, you know, sitting down with a few clients for lunch after an amazing quarterly business review. Social proof where they go, oh, you do the things that you tell me you do on your CV, right? Even better when other people can vouch for it. Listen, you win a little award at your company. I know we look at them and we go, where's the money? But when they tag you and they go, our employee of the month, Adele, excellent. We have that social proof there because I didn't make this up. It's not just me telling you I'm amazing. There's other people. I've got the proof I've got the receipts, right? And that's what networking is about. And again, it doesn't need to be necessarily a person in your field. I saw a video that's been recirculating recently about Issa Rae, talking about how people overlook the network that's beside you, right? You think you should just be networking up all the time. You want to network with the people, the places that you want to go. No. Peer-to-peer,
Colleagues,
sponsorship,
friends,
colleagues,
the lady who does my eyelashes, Anna, love you. Shout out to Anna. She got me freelance work. She told someone, oh, Adele's really good. She used to be in HR, and the person runs a business, and they were like, he might need a consultant or someone to consult on HR. Adele's really good. She does my eyelashes, guys. Like, we're always considering our network this way, but I'm telling you, your friends, aunties, cousins, sister knows someone who's got the exact job that you want to be doing. You just have to actually open your mouth and have the conversation. You just have to talk to the right people.
And don't do the thing that people do when you're socializing at the family barbecue and it's Christmas or you're getting your nails done. People ask what you do, and it's like, oh, I work in public sector. What do you do?
Be specific. What do you
Specifically,
do?
what's the role? What's the department? What do you spend your days doing? Because you're not helping me to help you if my next nail client comes in and goes, I think it's time to get a coach. It's like, well, you said I just help people.
You didn't say you was a career coach. You didn't say you was a business coach. You didn't say you was a health and fitness coach. You just said coach. What kind of
coach? So they're like, oh, that's nice. Because when people are looking for you, they're looking for somebody specific, right? When they're looking for a junior so-and-so, that's specific. If they're looking for a senior blah, blah, blah with 10 years experience, they want director level. They want C-suite. They want what they want. But if you haven't connected the dots for that person in between to bridge the gap, that's on you. It's your job to make it easy for people to talk about you in rooms that you're not in. That's it. That's at the basis of networking. That's the basis of personal branding. That's why we do it. Not to show off, not to become famous, not to be employee influencers, but to be known for the correct things, to curate the things that we're known for. So those opportunities come to us and we go, what? You came via my lash tech?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Literally, let's do it, guys. And another thing I want to talk about networking that I've noticed in this job market and that's helped my clients immensely is, listen, we were talking earlier about targeting your CVs. I promise you, if you network with people in the industry that you want to get into or people who have worked in there and ask them, what should I be talking about in interview? What should be in my CVs? One of my best clients this year, she networks with about 25 people. I tell no lie. She got on LinkedIn and just started talking to people saying, can I get 2 minutes of your time? Can I ask you a couple questions? Can we have a coffee chat? Like, talking to everyone. She came back to me and said, right, Adele, these are the things I need you to add into my CV. We got the CV done. She only booked 2 interviews. She got the offers, both of them. Why? Because the information she needed, the targeting she needed, the information she required for her CV, guess what? She got it from networking. She got it from asking people, listen, there is nothing like insider information. There is nothing like source information.
ChatGPT is not giving you this, though, as well. This is what I want to say, because so many people go, give me a list of interview questions for this role. No, they know it came from there, because the real pain points, the real challenges within the industry, they take a whole year before they go into the trend report, right? They are felt a whole year before anybody writes a blog or writes an article or an expose on it. It is felt by those that know. So being in those rooms and being brave, I love that. Being just going out there and asking the questions.
How do I do this? Asking what should I like, have a conversation with someone who's done it rather than, listen, Google's great, YouTube is great, but it can only give you so much information. If you want to get into HR, go and speak to some HR people. If you want to get into product management, go and speak to some people in product. If you're a stylist and you want to become a senior stylist or you want to move into a whole different industry, guess what? Go and speak to the people doing that. They will tell you what is required. First and foremost, it might give you insight into the fact that you might not even want to go into that industry,
I
because
know.
you might hear some things and be like,
Yeah.
oh, this isn't for me. Secondly, it will give you like, okay, this is what I need to share in my CV. This is how my skills would shape up in that industry,
Mm-hmm.
because you know your skills. Listen, I'm not going to knock ChatGPT because
No.
it has its benefits. However, I will knock it when it comes to what Jazz just said. Like, when you say to it, oh, tell me what questions they're going to ask me in an interview. I don't care if you know every question in an interview. If you're not good at answering, it makes no difference. If you ask ChatGPT, oh, what should I say if they ask me this? Guess what? It's going to give you a really generic answer. You now say that. Can you elaborate on it when I ask you extra questions at interview? Can you elaborate? Because if you say something that sounds really good, I'm going to be like, oh, tell
Oh,
me
tell
more.
me more.
These times you don't have a
I
story,
understand.
you don't have results, you don't have nothing to back it up. And then people will come to me and say, oh, I did this and ChatGPT made it sound so good and I didn't get the job. Yeah, because it wasn't who
Wasn't
you are. Like,
you?
it
It
wasn't
wasn't
you.
you.
You weren't able to back it up and say, like, oh, there was this
Mm-hmm.
time when I worked at this company when I had to do X, Y, Z. Because ChatGPT just made up an example and you just went ahead and said it.
Mm-hmm.
But you had no
And
context.
this is it. And I think there's even another thing with this as well, because, when we're talking about career change in general, there's a big insecurity that's just like, I need to fit in, right? And what we're talking about here is techniques towards cultural intelligence. You want to communicate. You don't need to teach me the language. You just teach me the tools,
Mm-hmm.
right? You just teach me the techniques, but I know what we are talking about. I know what we are facing as an industry already. So there's also nothing wrong with going in an interview. That's a big question that comes up with career change. What if I've never done this thing? You get ahead of that and you go, this part would be a completely new experience for me. However, I was discussing it with a peer the other day and just talking about how, there's new technology to really overcome it. The biggest thing is to really stay on top of the legislation. So it's like, I was talking with a peer. I was talking with somebody about it.
I
I'm in the
was
conversation.
networking. I used my network to get the answer to this question.
I have a network that will support, because again, we take for
Absolutely.
granted that the people in the roles know all the things. Listen, there are fewer and fewer companies offering really robust training. So even when you get the role, networking, communities, networks,
Mm-hmm.
that is how people stay and that's how people
Mm-hmm.
progress. So never be ashamed to say, I had a conversation, I was discussing this,
Yeah.
right? I was discussing this. So I was noodling over this. I sent my friend an article about it and we were just discussing. And it's like, oh, you're here. You're here. I don't have to explain what the acronyms are,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a huge thing when it comes to career change. Borrow from those conversations and those nuggets. But again, you can't do that with ChatGPT. You can do that if you talk to your friend Adele. You can do that if you talk to
Mm-hmm.
somebody. But
It's skill
nobody's
set and
sitting.
knowledge. When you're changing career, you need to think about your transferable skill set, connect the dots,
Mm-hmm.
but then also knowledge. Just because there's 10 things on the list and you've done 7 and you haven't done the other 3, what have you done that's similar to it? And what knowledge do you have that makes you know that it's not going to be hard for you to learn? And that's what
Mm-hmm.
did you speak to your friend and you know that, like, oh, all you've got to do is X, Y, Z, and that's how you're going to overcome that gap in your experience.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have the knowledge of it? I always say, like, I would go into, when I first moved into recruitment and into human resources, I would go in and use the lingo
Mm-hmm.
that they use. I knew, because I'd had conversations with my friend who was in there. So then when I used the lingo, they would be like, oh, you're oh, you know a bit of this. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I've got some knowledge. And they were like, oh, she's serious. Oh, she wants the job, because I'm connecting the dots for them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not making them think I'm just coming out of nowhere. I'm just this teacher who used to work in childcare who suddenly now wants to be in human resources. No, I'm letting you know how what I've done before is transferable, but also
Mm-hmm.
I've got good knowledge on what you already do. So I'm not coming in fresh and empty. And I
No.
think that's another part of the sophistication. It is all about finessing this current job market. And it's all about moving differently to how we've moved before. Yes, before you might not have had to tailor your CV as specifically as you do now. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
before you may not have had to network and talk to more people. But if you want these jobs, if you want these 40K, 50K pay rises, you are going to have to move differently in a job market that is different. And I think that's really important. People want to move exactly the same in 2024 as they did in the 2019 job market.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, that's like saying you want to move the same when you was dating as when you're married. Listen, and I'm not saying everything
It's
changes,
mad.
but I'm saying when you was dating, you was probably calling people, have all different people in your phone, people
It's
calling,
a
texting, da, da, da. Try and do
different
that when you're
level.
married. What now? You've got all different men still texting you, all different guys. So who, where, how?
Let me just dip, okay?
Let's move differently when we see that things are different. I got another question for you because I don't want us to run out of time or jump off. So I wrote it down because I don't want to forget any of the questions. Right. Someone said, I always talk about quantifying, but they said, what happens when you don't know how to, or you don't remember to quantify your results? Like to actually explain why what you do matters. Like what
Mm.
happens when you can't remember? Like how can people get around that?
Oh, this is the real reason. Listen, I had a conversation with a client about it last week. She knows she's ready to leave. She accelerated the timeline of leaving. I said, so I need you to go into your systems and collect all the numbers that matter from when you started in this place, right? And even if you think it doesn't matter, I want you to gather that evidence. So please be noting it. Please do not take it for granted. Every time that you do your reviews, save a copy, send that bad boy to yourself, okay? Because you typically will have done the work then to go, what did you do this past quarter? What did you do this past half a year or year? The people have reviews every year. I'm like, whoa, I have no patience for that kind of performance cycle. But please have those numbers. If you don't have those numbers and you have good relationships, I would say go back and ask for those relationships there. Also, there are some things in a company that are confidential, some of them aren't. So there's times where I've reached out to somebody who's still at the organization. Now, bearing in mind, the context was a layoff.
Right.
So there was a space of I had senior leadership going, let us know what you need, let us know what you need. And I was just like, I need you to send me my numbers from X period or from this client. And again, I'm not asking for confidential information. There's a context for why I need it, because I need to refresh my CV. Obviously, unexpectedly left the role, blah, blah, blah. So if you do have those relationships there that can get you that information, obviously we want to be sensitive contractually.
Yes.
So we're not asking for lists of clients, we're not doing non-compete stuff, but we're going, can you just go back to my metrics or my KPIs to just give me this number? The other thing is, I'm a big fan of sprinkling in some qualitative stuff, but it has to be related to value add, right? So if we use an example of introducing a process, right? Sometimes if you're introducing a process, you've got the quantifiable numbers. Like I reduced a process from 60 minutes to 30, and that's a process that's done 100 times a week across a team of 25. Whoa, people are like, oh, big number. Sometimes you might not have that. So actually, the same process can actually have a qualitative result in terms of it improves the work-life balance of many members of the team who are now able to focus on other more significant projects, right? So that's what that's what I call a solid example of qualitative, not like it made everybody happy or a very generic, it contributed positively to the company.
It did what?
Did it make it like,
yeah.
don't do that.
It needs to
Give me
be an
specific.
impressive. You need to be specific. And I think, like what you just said, even saying it became the foundational template for what they use going forward. Like I can say that about like an interview system that I set up in one of my companies. One of the biggest impacts was that till today they still use that. Like I still have a friend who works there. Till today they still use all the interview, the structure, everything that I built. So it was foundational in moving the company forward. Like I don't need to have specific numbers and say, oh, it helped them, I don't know, get more people. Like it helped, I don't know, a good number for that would have been like how many people based on my interview key actually meant that they stayed, they got better quality staff, they got retention. There's so many things, but even just me saying that became the foundational template
And
is enough
even
of a
you can
specific
borrow,
thing.
like I'm calling it like a tertiary or a secondary number. You can borrow a number to go like that process is now being used by over 300 employees today. You just on LinkedIn to check how many people they have. That's it. They're like 300 people are using something you created globally. For those that work for the global company, flex that global work globally. It was rolled out to the teams globally. It became best practice globally or across the EMEA
Across
region,
4
or whatever it is.
countries, which
This is it.
including the
Give
US.
me some.
If you're trying
Give
to
me
go
some
and work for a
scale.
US company, but you're like UK based, but you're going to be working remotely, but for a US company, and your current company works with the US, I want that. I want you to
I
drop
need
that in your CV.
to know
I want you
you've
to
got that.
drop that in your interview conversation. Why are we not? Why are we not marrying the things that just need to be married together? And that's a part of the sophistication of this job market. And guys, again, I'm going to say this, the 2025 job market is not going to be much different from the
Mm.
2024 job market. So if you are thinking like, oh, we're going to be able to wait, you might be waiting until 2026 or 2027. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But right now,
Mm.
the job market isn't looking to make a massive shift. Some industries are going to pick up, like specific industries, but outside of that, the job market as a whole is looking the way it's looking. Companies are trying to force people back into the office. So these companies are not looking like they're at any point going to be like, oh yeah, we'll just take anyone on. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So if we want to be the ones getting the jobs, if we want to be the ones with the 20, the 30, the 40K pay rises, we need to maneuver ourselves in a way that gets us the roles. And I think what's really important is what we've spoken about today. Even when the job market gets good, if you continue to use these sophisticated techniques, if you continue to finesse the way we're telling you to, do you know how easy you walk into jobs? This is why I feel like all the time I always say like, oh, I can get a job. And it's not about being big headed. It's
Listen, I've been
about
saying that since I was 15. I was like,
yeah,
I have never had a problem getting a job,
yeah,
guys.
because in my head, it's like if you're always using the most sophisticated level of strategy, if you're always making sure you've got a tailored CV, if you're always like doing certain things, like the reason I was able to double my salary in one of my jobs was literally because of using these techniques way
Mm.
before they were needed. I was doing them anyway, and I think now the difference is this level is needed.
Mm.
There will be a time when you don't need to be this specific with your CVs. You don't need to network your butt off. It will go back. The job market always is swings and roundabouts. However,
You want to
if
be at the
you're
top when it goes back.
right,
This is it.
why
You want
would
to
you
be at
not
the
want to
top.
be at the top of like if you're the top of the food chain at all
Mm.
times, you know that you'll always walk into the best jobs with the best salaries, with the best benefits, and be able to, like when people say to me, oh, you've been in corporate, there's no way you've been able to negotiate like full-time money for part-time hours. Yeah, because I'm always trying to be the top of the food chain. Like, and that's just the truth. And I'm not saying that things don't go wrong. I'm not saying things have not been hard.
No.
Like I talk about all this stuff, but I'm just saying when you are thinking about how you can work a system, because remember, the system works us every day. Every single day, the system works every single one of us. You just have to think about how
Mm.
you can work the system in
Mm.
return so you can get the things that you want. So everything we're talking about is not to be like, oh, it's so much harder. This is going to take so
Mm.
much longer, because it's not. It's just different. Like, wouldn't you prefer to send out to apply to 5 jobs and book 3 interviews?
Mm.
Versus, I spoke to someone who was like, Adele, in the last 6 months, I think I've
100.
applied for almost 100
Yeah.
jobs. And I've had no,
And
listen, after
this
10
is
applications,
actual applications. I
yeah,
think that's the bit that breaks my heart. It's not no LinkedIn quick
no, no,
apply.
no, no,
It's no, I filled in that the
a
full. I spent hours of my night. I
100
spent weekends
and got listen, and no
and I
interviews.
call back.
Listen, if I
Yeah.
sent 10 CVs and got no interviews, I'm upset. I'm angry with the whole world, because let me let you know, yeah, I'm too lazy for that. Like, as much as I do what I do, I don't have the patience, I don't have the heart. I've sent out 10 applications, I've really put my heart into 10 applications, and I haven't got anything back. Versus
Yeah.
some of you, the reason you're able to send out 100 applications because you didn't make it targeted, you didn't make it specific, you didn't edit nothing, you just sent. The
Mm.
work at the beginning, in this job market, the work at the beginning is what gets you the end result.
Mm.
So a lot of people are like, oh, but I send my CV, I'm really good at interviews. So once they interview me, they're not going to interview you anymore.
No, no.
It's not like back in the day. They're
And
not.
this is
They're
what I
not
said.
even
It's
going
a
to look. They're going to press
funnel.
delete.
Everything that you're doing is to get you to the next step. So I know it's very easy to overwhelm yourself in your mind going, this application is what's going to qualify me to be a finalist for this role.
No.
No, the application is going to get you the screening call. We're not even talking to anybody in the department, right? We are talking to the recruiter. If you're talking to somebody in the department, cool, different size companies, different structures, 100%. But that's going to get you that call. And then that call is what's going to get you the interview. And to be honest with you, to a certain extent, that screening call, as long as you don't present yourself as a red flag, they pretty much are ready to schedule you for at least that first stage interview, right? Otherwise, they would have just said no. But they just want to check a few things. What's your notice period again? What do you know about the company? Are you still available and
I think
interested?
one thing people have to remember is the screening call now is a mini interview,
Hmm.
because you just said the red flag thing.
Show up. This is not
Yeah,
admin. You're not dealing with nobody's coffee and tea making assistant. This is a gatekeeper. This is a valid gatekeeper. You need to treat them as
as
such.
such, what do you know about the company? I don't want to hear no, like, oh, I'm not 100% sure. No, 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 no. I need you to be like, if you're not sure what job it is that you've applied for, I need you to say to them, oh, can you just remind me of the role? Like, but not,
That's it.
and let them remind you. When they remind you, then start talking, but not like, oh, I've applied for thousands of jobs. I'm just trying to
Oh,
get anything.
do
This is not what we say on
do
screening
not
calls. This
also
is what
do
we say on
website
screening
homepage, right?
calls.
Website homepage information. Don't do it.
That drives me crazy. Oh, I can see that you've been in business for 73 years. No one cares. No, 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 no. Stop. Stop. It's a red flag, guys. Like, we need you to have deeper knowledge of roles and information. And screening calls, I'm not saying that you need to be prepped for a screening call
No,
like an
no,
interview.
don't
No one's
stress
saying that.
yourself out
Not
over
stress.
it.
Yeah.
Come
But
correct. Everything that we're describing to you all, 10 minutes. You can do that
yes.
10 minutes before the call,
Yes.
right? Especially if you
Yes.
remember what you're applying for. This is why a big thing with my clients, we track what we
Tracker.
have applied for.
Yeah.
So when we get the call back, there's no surprise. But also, when it's a Monday evening and a job comes up, you're able to see, okay, that one is not closing until the end of next week. I've got 3 that actually closed
Mm-hmm.
this week. I'm going to do those first. I'm not going to get overwhelmed. And I think one of the things that I want to say is, like, we're sharing specific things that we share with our clients here today. And we're not saying this to say that if you're doing things to the contrary of what we're advising, that you are doing it wrong, because we both exist in our roles as career coaches because the rules were never explained to anybody. But what we're talking about here is sophisticated career change in 2024, 2025 and beyond is a skill set in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reality is, when you're looking at working with career coaches like us, you may think, okay, Adele's just going to get me my next job. No, we are giving you the tea
Yes.
that then
For your next
becomes
7
your
jobs.
template.
For your next 20 pay rises.
This is it. So the same way as I was just like, my P's and Q's are in line. So if I send 10, I'm at least getting 5 callbacks, right? The same way I said I've never had a problem getting a job, because we've been building and battle testing these techniques ourselves over years, right? And I kind of want to point that out for anybody who's new to either of us, right? We both have a multifaceted career, which means that we are in the trenches just as much as you. I send off applications just like you guys do, right? I go for promotions
I
just
was
like
out
you
here
do.
last
Both of
year,
us.
2023. I was out here. I know
Same.
Jazz
I
was
was
too. We was
out here,
out here,
right? And we
applications,
both,
interviews to get our new jobs. Like,
this is it. We both have carved careers where it's like we're now getting paid more to do less hours, right? So also there's corners that we're going to, so we can come back and pour that into you as a client. So when you think about working with a career coach, please don't ever think short term. Come in. Listen, Adele and I love it.
mm-hmm.
When you want to come in and you want to get everything from us, you want to go, okay, I know we're doing this right now, but if I was to change in another direction, once I'm in, what's your recommendations for me getting promoted? What kind of things should I say in that first review? We love to give all of these gems, and what we've shared today is just a fraction of it. So I just want you all to think, I want you to know it's not rocket science. I want you to know that the hard work has been done and we can just pass you the playbook. We would love nothing more than to pass you the playbook where I get it today. People who I worked with 3 years ago are just like, I made another transition.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered when you said this. I remembered this tool, this technique, this framework. I'm like, yes.
Absolutely. I love when someone from 5 years ago says to me, remember how you taught me how to write my CV, Adele? I wrote it and I got shortlisted straight away. Yes, that's what, because when you leave me, you should leave me better than I found you. Like, I don't care. Like, you will never join anything to do with either of us. And I can say that, like, 10 toes down, and not leave better than you came in, because that's what we're here to do. And my brain just went back to something, and I wanted to say it because I will forget. When we were talking about quantifying results and remembering your quantification. Listen, anyone who's listening who's like, I've never kept a list, or I can't go back and I can't ask anyone, or it's old companies, I can't ask you if it's cool. Start where you are. That's really important. Start today and start where you are. Start keeping notes of all the things you do. Every couple of months, I want you to have like a master document where you write down all your wins, all the things someone has said to you. And a technique that I get a lot of my clients to do is pull the job description, read the job description and look at your CV. And where they ask for specific things, look at your, find
Have I
evidence. Say
answered
to yourself,
it? Have I
have I
answered it?
ever done this in any of my jobs? Because we tend to work within the last couple of jobs. We forget. Like, I was speaking to a client the other day. She was like, oh, no, I've never done it. And I said, are you sure? She looked back and she was like, oh, I did it for like 4 years. 5 years ago. And I was like, so you've got 4 years experience, but 5 years. She was, yeah, it was a long time. I said,
You've
if
still
you
got 4
don't
years
put that
of
in the
experience.
CV
That
of me,
muscle memory. Listen, those of us who can ride a bicycle, do we turn to anybody? When it's time to jump on them line bikes, listen, don't talk to me about these line bikes. But when it's time to jump on these line bikes, I don't know how to ride a bicycle. Listen, I may not have ridden a bicycle since I was 16, but I'm going to get on this electric bike and I'm good to go. Your work experience is the same.
It doesn't go
It
in
did
the
not
bin.
disappear.
Listen, half of you did your degrees 15 years ago, if not more. I
And
might be
also,
showing my age. But
can I be honest here?
does it
Can I
go in
be
the bin?
candid? There is somebody who does not have that experience at all. And you saying you're 4 years from 5 years ago, bumps you up the list.
Immediately. Because do
They're
you
like, oh,
think,
we
guys,
don't need to onboard you in that.
I used to be a teacher. Do you think someone can come to me now and say to me, oh yeah, but that was years ago, Adele, you don't know how to teach anymore? Are you mad? Of course I know how to still. Oh, listen, get me back in the classroom with them kids. And I bet you, like
Now,
my friends will have their kids around me, they're young kids, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, Adele's in teacher mode. Because it's muscle memory. I literally get down to their level, talking to them, asking questions. Like people will be like, Adele, you have too much energy with these children. No, 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 no. I was a teacher. It is
so
just there. It just happens. Yes, there'll be things I'd need to be retrained on, but do you think I couldn't go back and do that? Like, what? Like, I want people to understand that even if you learnt something years ago and you did it for a couple of years, the job description did not say you must have done it yesterday. It just said, have you done it? And again, it didn't say I've done it 300 times. Like some people say to me, oh, I've been a manager, but I've only done it for like 6 months. I don't care. You've been a manager. You've managed people. You've managed teams. Guys.
and I want to talk to this. I want to talk to this bit. This is probably a little bit off piece, but I want to talk to the people who want to change career and the place that they're at is a bit stifling, right? Because we are in this here 2024 where somebody will give you a job title and not the money that goes with it. Okay? So again, weigh it up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are listening to this and you are in a space where you're just like, I wanted the manager thing, they've given me the role to acknowledge I've been doing it already, but they said they don't have budget. You set your timer, my love,
Mm-hmm.
but that timer is that timer. So if you're moving on to your next thing saying management experience for 3 months, I don't care. We're putting it on the CV. Management experience for 6 months, we're putting it on the CV because especially when it comes to moments like that, you've been performing at that level before it.
Mm-hmm.
So even then, it's not I have managed 3 months management experience. It's I have 12 months of informal management experience and 3 months of formal. Because when we get down to the nitty gritty in the interview and they go performance management,
Mm-hmm.
challenging team members, managing senior stakeholders' expectations, you can wax
Mm-hmm.
lyrical. So please don't be hemmed in, right? I had it with a client last week. We were reading job descriptions together. I was teaching her how to read it because she was counting herself out. She wanted to go for a customer success
Mm-hmm.
role. And she looked at the role and the role was just like, must have, I think it said 3 years of customer success,
Mm-hmm.
client facing, and fast paced experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or customer service experience. It gave 3 different descriptors.
Mm-hmm.
She said, no, but I don't have customer success experience. I'm doing a career change. I was like, but it said client facing, fast paced, customer service. You have 6 years of that.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, but it said customer success. I was like, yeah, of course it's going to put it in there because that's what the role is. But they didn't accidentally put in customer facing, customer experience, customer service. So you qualify.
Mm-hmm.
So don't those, especially those of you that are doing career change, look for those nuggets because what they're telling you is you don't need to have it in the template that we have it.
You
But
can
if you've
also
got the
have this and this.
competencies,
Right.
we want to talk to you if you've got the competencies. We want to talk to you if you've done it once before. We want to talk to you because, again, in the same way that the sophistication of the companies are going up, they're recognizing that actually, if people come with a different, unique recipe of skills, we're open to it because we'll train for
Mm-hmm.
everything else. And not every company is built that way. There are some companies where it's like, we need you to just slot in. We need you to know all of our tools, techniques, certifications, and you should hit the ground and go. Whereas there's others where it's just like, actually, if you've got the right recipe of stuff, we can give you this over here. We can give you this over here. We can listen, I was a customer success manager. It's a customer service role, but in tech with a tech platform. That's all it is. It's the context that
Mm-hmm.
changed. So please do not freak yourself out because the core skills that they wanted 10 years ago, they still want now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they have different names. And again, it's not there by accident. So I just wanted to,
No,
because
I love that. I love
don't
that you shared
disqualify
that. No,
yourself.
no, 100%. Don't disqualify yourself because I've applied for jobs where it said like must have 5 years of compliance. I don't have 5 years just in compliance, but I'm a human resources manager. If you think I don't, I was a human resources admin. If
Compliance
you
is
think I
life.
haven't done compliance all the time, I'm coming to. I used to work when I was in teaching. We had to do GBSs. You know how long I've been doing compliance? So I'm gonna highlight the bits that show that I've got because sometimes some of you are being too literal. They said 5 years of compliance. I don't have 5 years of compliance. I'm not going to do it. Oh, I absolutely do. I'm going to find the 5 years of compliance throughout my career, and I'm going to then showcase that on my CV and then again in my interview. I'm going to
And
have those
compliance is a
conversations.
skill, it's not a job title.
Right,
If we take every skill that they list as a job title, that human being does not
right.
exist. Because that would have
And
meant
that's the
I want to be a compliance manager for 1 year, and then you want me to be a customer success manager for another year. You want me to be a recruiter for another year. You want to be,
it's a skill.
recruitment. I said
It's,
recruitment.
it's a
I
skill.
said
It's
talent
a skill. Yes,
attraction.
if
I
you've
said
done
human
talent
resource
attraction or
management.
recruitment, you could have been a manager somewhere and been recruiting for your company. You don't have to have been a recruiter to get into
Mm.
recruitment. And I think, just like you said, just some like the knowing the skill versus the job title. I think that's
And
really
take your
important.
time. If you need to go for a walk and come back and read the job description, please do. I said it to a client. It wasn't recent. It was last month. I said to a client, you're not applying for anything this week. She was just like, oh, but I said, you are not in the mind space to apply for any.
Take a week
You're
off.
not reading job
Yeah, take
descriptions.
a week off.
And I don't even want to think about what you're writing in a covering letter at this stage.
Yeah.
Take a week off. It's not running away, because it's better for you to take a week off and come back. And you might come back to me in 5 days and go, Jazz, I feel ready. Cool.
Yeah.
But as your coach, I'm telling you, we're going to take a pause. You're going to restore and refill your cup,
Yeah.
because we're not applying for jobs while we're on the floor.
No, and we're not just throwing. Listen, the biggest thing is throwing crap at a wall and hoping something sticks.
Because you
Listen, we've all been
still
there.
make it mean something about you. When you
Absolutely.
get that rejection, you don't remember that I wrote it when I was half asleep and I was
Yeah.
just forcing myself to get out as many
And
of
it's not
these as
even that
possible. You
good.
don't remember that.
Yeah.
You just go, you didn't choose me.
Yeah.
When
That's
it's just
it. And
like,
that's
okay, so show me what you sent them.
yeah.
I wouldn't hire you.
Right.
You
And
have no business sending
that's
this.
so important. That's so important to understand. What headspace were you in when you sent the application? Were you in that desperation? Like, I need this job, I need this job. Were you in the, oh my gosh, I'm too tired, I'm just doing this to do it? Because you know what? When you do something just to do it, it never works out. It just never, not in your favor, because you didn't do it because you wanted to. You did it just to do it. You know how minimal your effort was when you did it just to, you know, when I'm cooking and I'm like, oh, I just got to get some food made. The food is not beautiful the way it is when I'm like, right, I'm in this kitchen and I'm chefing it
I'll
up.
be delivering that plate to my husband with apologies. I'm like, I think I was a bit heavy-handed on the pepper there, but it's edible.
Listen, the rice might
It's
stuck a little
edible.
bit to the bottom of the pot. Sorry, babes. Here you go. Manage.
We go again.
Manage.
We've got a lifetime of meals. You know this is
Yeah,
not my caliber,
manage. You
but
know this is not my
here's your
level. So, guys, it's the
plate.
same with your job description, like your job searching, anything like that. I do want to say, this is the time of year where you've got like a smaller window. Because I say, like, I remember Jazz posted about this recently. Mid-November, the job market is going to
Peace out.
sleep. Like, it's
Peace out.
resting. So you've got
And
a
it's
small
not
window.
personal. It's just nobody ever wants to be the person trying to coordinate 6 different people across different
Diaries,
teams to be able to do
Christmas,
interviews while people are out. But soon as Halloween hits,
yeah.
peace out.
So,
Thanksgiving, traveling, school play.
cold outside, don't want to come to the office to do nothing, not coming bothered, like want to rest, like want to get ready for January. So just know that you've got a really small window. So after that, then it's like December should be like Christmas, all that stuff, but then prepping for the new year, because so a lot of companies, different companies have different quarters, but a lot of companies, the budgets will come back in January, and for other companies it will be April, because some companies run their financial years April to April, some run it from January to December. So just know that the window right now is jobs that are being advertised now are people that have got budget left that need to quickly finish it.
Now we need you to land.
Yes.
We need to pay you your first salary before the end of this year, right?
Absolutely.
So we need to have that. And what I will say is, in that, I'm going to call it the off season. I've been watching some sports documentary. In the off season, network your little booty off. Go to every association of HR professionals. Go to every Christmas party. Go to the panel discussion. Listen, October, November for the conferences. Find your industry one, find yourself in the room. Don't be bashful about saying, in the new year, I'm looking to make a move, hoping to make a transition. Spend that time doing the coffees. Because again, like I said, when people taking their foot off the gas, they'll go for a long lunch, right? You can go and meet them, go, oh, where's your office space? Oh, I'm usually working nearby there.
I'm that person. I want to come for the 2-hour lunch because so if I'm in the office, you want to come for lunch, let's do some networking.
Listen, I'm outside already. Let's make it a day.
It's already cold. I'm in London. Let's go. Like, what? So absolutely. See, guys, this is why I like speaking to Jazz, because there's so many gems. There's always never seems to be enough time. But
No.
if you have additional questions, I need you guys to drop them in the comments. When I post this, I want you to put them in the comments. If you're watching this on the
And
replay,
we'll
you
reply.
can still ask us questions. Jazz will be tagged, so she'll be able to see the questions. Ask away. Jazz, let people know where they can find you, how they can work with you before I let you go.
So I'm on jazz@justjazz.co on all things. The website's there. I love to write a good email. I love a good podcast. LinkedIn is my home. So you'll find me over here, but I'm usually posting the odd meme and things like that. But we're still a serious career coach. It's just, this is my place of fun and
Fun
chat. Like, this is
times.
what I love to do over here. So you'll probably see a lot of reels and lives as opposed to stuff. But the email is where it's at, justjazz.co/email. And you can get all of the goodies
Listen,
there.
if you don't follow Jazz, you need to follow Jazz. Just because, like, sometimes she will just write 2 lines and crack my whole brain open, and I'll be like, do you know, I've never thought of it like that. Like,
I'm
I've
one of
never.
these self
And listen,
people. I don't post on Instagram for ages, and I'm like, you guys have 8 weeks to get a job in
I said
2024.
it's
Bye.
perspective. It's just perspective. Like, you will crack a brain open real quick, and Jazz will speak about things in such a real life way that will have your mind so open that you'll be willing to move, even if you don't get to exactly where you need to immediately. Just reading what she shares will get you to move. So yeah, if you're not following her, head over to LinkedIn, follow her here on Instagram. You guys know where I'm at already. Head over to 5 for 2 Careers, listen to the podcast, drop me a message. You know, I like to always chat to you lot in the DMs. But yeah, this has been really good, Jazz. Listen,
This has been
all you
fun.
people out there, we need you to be more sophisticated we need you to
That's it.
finesse your CVs, finesse your networking, just finesse the whole situation, okay? Because I promise you, these job descriptions that people are putting out, they finessed you because they told you that this was your job description and you started and then this was your job description, like this long, because they finessed you. So I need you to have the same energy when you're trying to move in this industry, because they're going to make you jump through 30 hoops. So you may as well get some good money for doing it.
No, that's it.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Jazz, I loved it as always. I may even turn this into a podcast episode. I'm not gonna lie
Let's
to you,
do
but I'll
it.
let you know.
Yeah.
Right. So guys, it's been real. It's been a good one. But yeah, have a good evening, everyone. Thank you, Jazz.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.
I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.